October 26th, Winnipeg heads to the polls to elect its new mayor. 11 candidates will be on the ballot with a vision of how they will lead Winnipeg for next 5 years. 8 candidates have accepted our invitation to convey their plans and promises. My name is Zuher Almusre and this is Civic Platform. One of Jenny Motkaluk's objective is celebrating what Winnipeg is, and she believes collaboration is defending characteristic of Winnipeggers.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to have this platform, so thank you very much. My name is Jenny Motkaluk. I am the only Jenny of the 11 candidates, so while my last name is hard to say, Jenny's pretty easy. I am a candidate for mayor of Winnipeg, and I want to start by talking about why I'm running for mayor. One of the biggest concerns that I've had over the last number of years, 10, even 15 years now, if you really think about it, is that Winnipeggers have been listening to some really divisive rhetoric that's been coming at us from all over the place. It comes at us from senior levels of government, our local government. It comes at us from the media, particularly the Eastern-based media, and we've been called on to divide ourselves and to self-identify in separate tiny little groups. We've been told a lot that we're not good and that we should feel badly about ourselves. And I think that's a really dangerous road to go down. I believe that every single person who's chosen to make Winnipeg their home is on the same team. I think that we are all Winnipeggers. Winnipeg is the most diverse city in the country. We have more countries of origin here. So whether you are newly arrived or if your family has been here and has originated right here in the Canadian prairies, in my view, every single one of us is a Winnipegger. And that's what we need to remember. And we need to remember that we're on the same team. So a big part of my objective is actually to celebrate what Winnipeg is and how great we are, because we are a great prairie city, and I think we need to be proud of ourselves. I think we need to be proud of our accomplishments. I think we need to be proud of the way that we work together to do great things. Winnipeggers come together to create and build and play like nowhere else in the country. It's actually one of the defining characteristics of Winnipeggers is our ability to work together. And I know that because I've had opportunities to work with Winnipeggers who have done really tremendously amazing things. I spent a lot of time at Economic Development Winnipeg, helping to do investment attraction. And during my time there, we recruited $135 million of new investment for the city, and it created hundreds of really high-paying jobs. So that's just one example of the things that Winnipeggers can do when we work together. So that is really my motive. Okay, I truly believe in the power of Winnipeggers. I believe in the strength of Winnipeggers, and that's why I'm running for mayor. This election is really about leadership and our shared values, and I'm going to get into talking about my plan because I have one. But at the end of the day, plans are interesting and it sparks good public debate, but we can't really predict the future. You might know that I was a candidate for mayor in 2018. And during that campaign, Winnipeg spent the majority of the campaign talking about a single crosswalk, if you recall, right? Everything was all about Portage and Main. And what Winnipeggers could not have known at the time, and I didn't know, is that we were really electing the leadership that was going to take us through a global pandemic. None of us, because we can't predict the future. And that's why representative democracy is so important. That's why it's so important to elect leaders that share your values. I want Winnipeggers to think about which candidate for mayor best shares my values, best reflects who I am at my core. Because when the uncertain things happen in the future, you want to make sure that the person that's speaking for you shares your values so that they are going to make a decision that's similar to one that you might make. So, you know, there have been a number of interesting things that have happened over this course of this campaign, and we don't have to get into them, but I think it's really important that Winnipeggers know that I believe in Winnipeg. I believe in Winnipeggers. I believe that we are a great prairie city that does our best when we work together. I am a proud Canadian. I will always be a proud Canadian, and I will always stand up for my country. Those are some of my principles that I want Winnipeggers to know. Now, if it's okay, I will get into my plan. I published my complete platform on September the 7th because I wanted everyone in Winnipeg to be able to see everything that I would do if I were mayor. And this plan is the creation. This plan was created through conversations that I had with thousands and thousands of Winnipeggers. I spoke over the last number of years, and I really ramped it up over the summer. I spoke to thousands of Winnipeggers from all walks of life. I spoke to newcomer groups. I spoke to landlords. I spoke to small business owners. I spoke to large industries. I met Winnipeggers where they lived, where they worked, where they played. I met soccer moms. I had beers in the back lane. I went wherever Winnipeggers were who wanted to tell me their good ideas for making the city better. And so this plan, while it has my name on it, it's not really mine. It's actually ours. It's the net result of everything that I heard. And I think that that's very important. So what I'd like to do is just highlight a couple of key features of it first. First of all, you know, we are emerging from the pandemic, but it's not completely over. And there was a lot of damage done over the last couple of years. And I would never second guess the decisions that were made at the time, but it is time to learn from our experience. Small businesses in particular have been absolutely decimated. We are just starting to see the bankruptcies being declared by people who lost their jobs, their livelihoods, and in some case, generations of life's work. And I truly believe that the time is now for us to support those individuals and make sure that we're giving them the opportunity to recover and thrive. So one of my principles is that I am not going to raise taxes on struggling Winnipeggers. Today is not the day. With 50-year high inflation rates, while Winnipeggers are struggling to put food on their tables, and as a mother, those things are very important to me. I'm the only candidate for mayor today that does not believe we should raise taxes on Winnipeggers right now. A big objective that I have and my vision for Winnipeg is that we become the Canadian leader in growth and investment. I'm a salesperson. I'm a revenue generator. That's what I do for my business. I love money. I love when people make money. I love when people have money in their pockets. I love watching people make investments with their money. And my objective is that Winnipeg becomes a place filled with new investment and great new jobs. And so becoming a Canadian leader in growth and investment, attracting the investment that is out there, is one of my biggest priorities. And there's a couple of ways that I'm going to do that. The easiest one is to finally realize the opportunity that Centreport has been offering Winnipeg for the last 14 years. You might be aware that Centreport is a foreign trade zone in Winnipeg, and part of it is in the municipality of Rosser. For 14 years, Winnipeg has not had the opportunity to capitalize on that federal foreign trade zone, and we have failed because we haven't made the investment that we needed. And what it is to run some water service out to the Centreport lands. I've spoken to a lot of people that work at Centreport. I've done my homework on this thing. And I can tell you that when Centreport is fully occupied, there's a list of companies. There's a big list of companies that want to put shovels in the ground in Winnipeg and create new jobs and build our tax base. And when we finally service the land there, which is my top priority, we will be able to realize that. The result is 16,000 high-paying jobs for Winnipeggers. That's a lot of new jobs. That's a great way to drive up incomes in this city. Incomes, which, by the way, have stagnated for the last 20 years. Most private sector Winnipeggers have not seen a substantial pay increase in 20 years. It will also create $80 million a year of brand new tax revenue for the city. $80 million. That's the equivalent of a 12% tax increase on every ratepayer today. So why would we not go out and get new money instead of taking money out of the pockets of struggling Winnipeggers? So growth and investment is a huge, huge piece of my platform. It's a huge piece of who I am. As I said, I am a big believer in doing everything we can to make sure that Winnipeggers have opportunities for the future. In addition to that, I see that we're already down to 1 minute. Boy, maybe I talked too long. Thank you. In addition to that, as I talked about, we need to celebrate all of the things that we are. But really quickly, I want to touch on issues of homelessness. And, we've seen it grow. I have a plan that will allow the private sector landlords, who are the ones that provide the majority of affordable housing in the city, to actually solve the homeless problem once and for all. And I'm going to do it by seizing every one of the 780 derelict houses that we have in Winnipeg today. I am going to auction them off to private landlords who will redevelop them and have them available at welfare rates for our most marginalized members of our population. So all to say, jobs and money, practical solutions, no tax increases, and celebrating who we are. Those are the things that I'm about.
Head to winnipeg.ca for further details on candidates and voting information. This is Zuher Almusre, and this is Civic Platform. Thank you for watching.